Okay, welcome back to another episode of Peak Endurance Podcast.
PEP Talk, episode 15. I'm Nico.
And I'm Mercedes. And today we're going to dive into a recap of Nico's experience at Kodiak by UTMB 100-kilometer race. So we are recording this on the Canadian holiday Monday. And you just got back from Big Bear, California. Well, I guess really you flew in from Palm Springs late last night, so I had to stay up way past my bedtime to pick you up from the airport. And I have since refrained from asking you much detail at all about your experience, with the intent to ask you all the questions on this episode. So, welcome back. Welcome home.
Thank you, thank you. Now our catch-ups include a mic between them, and we wait to save all the juicy details until until we're recording. So there are all surprises are coming here. Mercedes is listening to all of this for the first time as well.
Yeah, in real time. This is our life now. And we both just cracked open a little logo, non-alcoholic. Shout out to Fernie Brewing Company. Little logo to enjoy while we have this conversation and to have a little cheers to you and your performance at the race. So cheers.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning.
All right.
So we did our preview podcast, and I mean, that was really the last sort of in-depth conversation I had with you. Obviously, I was communicating with you over text and largely communicating or getting updates from your crew, mostly Steph. Shout out to Steph. So the race started at 6 a.m. on Saturday. Maybe just walk us through that morning, how you were feeling, that whole start of it.
Yeah, so the day started for me quite early. Early, I set my alarm for what, 3:45 to have breakfast and then, get to the start line. And so naturally I just woke up at like 2 a.m. instead. And felt like pretty wide. Well, like I went to the bathroom and then I went back to my room and then Matt was staying in the room next to me and he was pacing Kelly that night and as went to the bathroom and I was like, oh, that's weird, his door's closed. Like he must have just left it closed. He's probably not in there. He's probably out there pacing Kelly. And Kelly was doing the 100 mile, which started 1 p.m. the day before. And so I didn't really think too much of it and then tried to go back to sleep and then kind of tossed and turned. Eventually I got up and I looked at my phone and then I had a message from Steph that unfortunately Kelly had to drop because of her back and hip were really painful and she had tried walking it off for a bit and it was just only getting worse. So unfortunately her day came to an end there. But at the same time, we were trying to coordinate rides to get me to the start line, and we had this other guy named Paul that was going to drive me to the start line just in case Steph was out crewing Kelly during that time. So then I found out that now Steph can drive me to the start line, and also bonus on top of that, she can now crew for me for the entire day. Because I had previously, when I checked in, I had put drop bags at the locations that were permitted by the race. So drop bags, that means that I had a bag that had like my nutrition and extra stuff for me. So when I got to the aid station, I'd get my drop bag, then I could refill my nutrition and keep going from there.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously sad for our friend Kelly that she couldn't continue the race, but I think she made the absolute best decision for herself and for her health. But yeah, the bright side was that then you had a crew and then Kelly could at least yeah, sort of be a part of your day too.
Definitely, and I like, I felt for Kelly so much too because I was like that was exactly how I felt like at UTMB too. It was like kind of like a very like almost like the exact same situation. It's like it's a bummer, and you're just saving your body for future, and rather than putting it through and preventing long term damage. So
Yes, which actually, when I chatted with Kelly briefly while you were out racing, she was saying to me that she actually thought of you when she was walking and she was in a lot of pain and she was sort of doing that debate in her head of, should I keep going? Should I not? And she said she thought of Nico and she was thinking, oh, what he would say is, if you're in pain and you're not feeling physically able to continue, that the smart decision, the decision should be to pull out and save yourself so you can have, more success another day. And then she's like, but then I also thought of you. And she's like, Nico would say that or had told me that, oh, Mercedes is so tough, she would probably just keep going. And she's like, so should I be Nico or should I be Mercedes? She said she had that debate for a little bit, which is just kind of funny because but I was like, ultimately, when I've pushed through things, it's not like I'm pushing through some sort of potential injury. It's been like I'm just pushing through um general race fatigue, bonk issues. Like, you know what I mean?
Energy,
It's
yeah.
not a health concern that I will, injure myself more or something like that. It's just been that I've been put to a point where I'm moving really slow and decide to continue to push through that even though I'm walking.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So that's kind of like where the morning started, and then I was like, okay, now so Steph is driving me there to the start line, and Matt came as well, and so drive to the start line. Well, we have like a quick little crew meeting. Also, I had extra time that morning because I woke up so early, and then found this out. I was able to make some little crew notes for Steph. That way, I could kind of get her up to speed with what I was looking for at the aid stations. And then so when she woke up, we had a quick little run through of that. Everything was good. And then we went to the start line. Just as we were getting to the start line was the finish of the first 100 miler, which was Hayden Hawks coming in. And so it was pretty cool to watch him just come in for his finish, and then had about like 10, 15 minutes till the gun went off. And yeah, kind of just made my way to the start corral.
And how, like, you're feeling good? How are the vibes out there? What was the temperature like?
Yeah, temperature.
Bring us there.
Yeah, temperature was great actually. It was like 10 degrees. It was like it felt super comfortable. Yeah, kind of made my way up to the front of the start. And there's like a bunch of other kind of pretty well-known trail runners there. Kind of just chit-chatted with like Eli Hemming and Chad Hall for a little bit. Chad Hall, brother of Ryan Hall, who is former American record holder, or maybe still current, I'm not sure, in the half marathon distance.
Oh,
So he was, I don't know, like a minute flat or something. Sorry, no, an hour flat.
wow.
Well, yeah,
1 minute for a half
he's
marathon.
fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Anyways, an hour-ish. Anyway, so he was there, and anyways, he was just talking about how he didn't want to wear a vest, so he had his belt, and then he had his jacket tied around his waist, and then he had his everything like stuffed around, and he had like a buff on his wrist. And anyways, he just didn't want to wear a vest. So
This is Chad?
Chad,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And then Eli was like, "Oh, I had that same debate, but I just went for the vest." He's like, kind of just like Taylor told him to suck it up, and yeah. Anyway, so just kind of chatted with them, which was cool. And then
That makes sense because in watching the live stream and
yeah,
seeing Chad, he always had a jacket tied around his
his waist,
waist. And
yeah.
I was kind of thinking, oh, why doesn't he just put that away somewhere? But I guess, yeah, he couldn't have put it away anywhere.
That's how we started the race. Like
Interesting
jacket,
decision.
yeah, tied around the waist. And hindsight now, like it was like a really mild morning, like pretty nice day, like not super hot, but so the cold weather year was definitely not necessary. But yeah, just a little bit extra bit to carry, and so we're just hanging out there, and eventually there go.
Okay. Okay. So gun goes off.
Gun goes off. Yeah, 6 a.m. It's dark. We're like the first 400 meters are through the streets, and they kind of just start nice and easy. A bunch of people kind of go off, and you go, I don't know, 300 meters, and you take a left-hand turn. And at this point, like there's like a pack of like, I don't know, 10 guys that kind of take off a little bit faster. And I was like, I'm just going to settle into my own pace. And then eventually we get onto the trail.
So you don't go with this lead pack of 10 men.
No, it just felt like faster than I wanted to go. And I just kind of settled into what felt comfortable for me. And I kind of just like I didn't count, but I was like, looks like 10-ish people, maybe. Yeah. And then so I'm like, okay, well, if I keep myself within close to the top 10, like I'll be within striking distance later. I'm like, okay, this is like, being smart rather than like trying to stick with them, just like do my own thing. And then if I'm within the realm of that top 10, then I can try to like work my way in there in the back half and pick off people that went off too hot.
Okay. Okay. So that felt good. You're feeling comfortable.
Yeah, feeling good, feeling comfortable, and then like just kind of flowing through the trails, like felt like nice and I don't know, just felt steady and it's all super runnable to start.
Were you amongst many people? Were you
Yeah, there was like some people kind of going back and forth, like, but pretty kind of not too much movement, I would say. Yeah, I think there's like two women who passed me on like there's like once you hop into the trail, it's like a little bit of an uphill, and then two went past me there, and then yeah, we went to past Snow Summit, which was like one of the aid stations later on, but there's no aid on the way out. And yeah, it's all like pretty flat and runnable. And then there's like a little climb up before you go to the other first aid station, Bear Mountain. And there was the second place female. I think her name was Erin. Yeah, we were kind of just climbing up together. She was setting the pace. And then a little bit further ahead, I could see another female, Mary, who ended up winning the race for females. And yeah, got to Bear Mountain, feeling good.
so is it still dark out? Do you
Once
wear
I got to
headlamps?
Bear Mountain, that was like, yeah, I took the headlamp off.
So you really didn't need it for very long?
It was like not even 40 minutes of headlamp time. Yeah, so it was super nice, and the trails weren't like technical or anything either, so it was like really easy moving. Yeah, and then after Bear Mountain, there's like a little bit of a road section, and then hop onto a trail all the way to Sugarloaf. And at this point, I'm a little bit in front of Erin, the second place female, and then in front of me, I can kind of see Mary. And so I'm kind of stuck between in between these two women, and that kind of trail goes like behind like where we stayed in Big Bear 2 years ago, and it was just kind of bringing back memories for me. Like I'd be like, oh, this is where like we would pop out from our street where we stayed, and I was like, so it's kind of cool just going by those areas again. And I was like, and then it kind of just made the time go by. I was just like, oh yeah, I recognize this area, recognize this area, and then next thing I know, I was at like the Sugarloaf aid station, which was kilometer 17, and like yeah, everything felt so smooth and easy and
Okay.
controlled. Yeah,
Okay, so kilometer 17.
yeah,
This is the first crew accessible aid station, correct?
yeah, Sugarloaf. Yeah, so all like in front of me, I could kind of see like Mary's ponytail a little bit
Hmm.
um, in front of me. And then I get to the crew aid station and Steph's there. She's like, Nico. And so easily saw her, and she was, yeah, it was like a really quick transition. She gave me my nutrition. Then Matt gave me the bottles, and then I was in and out of there in no time. And I actually, like in that aid station, I passed like Mary, and then I passed this other guy, Matthew, that I knew as well that I had met. And so I was like, yeah, we were super quick and efficient going through there. And then we started the climb up to Sugarloaf.
And this climb is going to be the biggest climb of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's early on, it's about 17K. You've also done that climb probably countless times
Yeah.
from
Half a dozen times, I would
yeah,
say. Yeah.
this race 2 years ago and spent a bunch of time there. So it's kind of like the climb. So at this point, you're feeling good. You've just seen the crew. All right. So you head up there and okay, tell
Yeah.
us about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I thought I had a question,
Yeah.
but I've lost
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like kind of well, I mean, I can't remember how many kilometers it is to the summit, but you pretty much you climb up, then you take a right towards the summit. And so pretty much the whole climb, it's like me, Mary, and Matthew kind of like almost like just exchanging like who would go first. Like sometimes like I felt like I was climbing strong and controlled, like listening to other people, they're like breathing really heavy, and I was like,
Oh, I remember what I was going to
yeah,
say. Was just that Steph had texted me, I think once they had crewed you there,
yeah,
and she said something to the effect of, well, sorry, she was quoting that you
yeah.
had said something to the effect of, feeling really good, just feels like I'm out for a jog or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Getting to Sugarloaf, it felt like I was out for just a casual jog,
Right.
and I was like, perfect. Like I feel like so good.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
So that was the update I received, and I was like,
yeah.
great, that's what we want to hear.
Exactly. Well, like those first 17 kilometers felt like they were just like they kind of flew by. To be honest with you, I
Okay.
was like,
That's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
You said you're like leapfrogging with these people. Were you chit-chatting or more just sort of moving together?
Going up Sugarloaf, we were all kind of just moving together. Like, yeah, I was kind of trying to chat with this guy Matthew. I had met him a couple times before, and he wasn't very chatty. So I was just like, all right, doesn't want to talk. That's fine. It also sounded like he was breathing a little bit heavier, and then Mary didn't seem chatty either. And I was like, that's okay. And also at Sugarloaf, that's when we encountered a lot of 100 milers, because that's kind of where our courses first intersected. So they were coming from the other side of the lake towards the finish area. When we had gone from the finish, we go out towards Sugarloaf and then we come back towards the town. So then we start passing a lot of 100 milers going up. And they're all like super encouraging and nice. And afterwards, I was talking to Matthew, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're definitely Canadian. You're always like encouraging people." And I was listening to your podcast with Nicole, and just she was talking about like
Yeah.
the Canadians being, and it's like it's obviously a Canadian thing, just very
Yeah.
encouraging of everyone. But yeah, so we're going up and kind of back and forth, and then we finally we get to the junction. You make a right hand turn, and then it's an out and back to the summit.
You just keep going. I just have to go remove the lid on our sourdough bread that is in the oven.
Sounds good. Yeah, so it's you make a right hand turn and you go. It's you kind of follow this ridge, and like I didn't remember it being so long, but it's definitely a couple. It's like maybe 3 or 4 kilometers along the ridge, and you're still kind of always gaining towards the summit. And so on this out and back too, I'm like, okay, will be the first point where like I can see how many people are in front of me, like because like I knew once you're getting close to the turnaround, you start counting the guys that are coming the way back to figure out where you're at. And just one other kind of thing to note on right when we made like the right hand turn and we're heading towards the summit, like this other guy catches up to us and yeah, I just remember he's wearing like these blue Tarek shoes and he's like, "Oh man, I took a wrong turn." And he's like, "Oh, catching back up to you guys." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, you're like we're going the right way now." And I was like, but just thinking to myself like, how did you make a wrong turn there? It's like kind of like there's only like one trail to go up. You take a right hand turn or you go left to go down. Anyway, so I was like, I don't know where this guy took a wrong turn, but this guy kind of comes back into the picture a couple of times later in the race. So I'm just setting the stage for this guy.
Do you know his name?
No,
Okay.
I don't know his name. But he had a very squirrely voice.
What does that mean?
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, like kind of higher pitched, British voice. Anyways, we're going along, climbing up, just still smooth and steady.
So sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah,
that's the first time you've heard of anybody having issues of
the
going
course.
off course or getting lost or anything?
Yeah, that was the first time. Yeah, going up, then Mary, I think, goes in front, and there's a bunch of logs that you kind of have to go over, and she's got short legs, so she kind of always took a little bit longer to go over the logs. Like, I felt like I could hop over them, but then I was, like, stuck behind her, so, um, anyways, but she was still moving really, really well. Eventually we get close to the turnaround point, and then I see coming my way the men's leader, which at that time was Chad Hall, closely followed by Eli Hemming, and then Michelino and Siri. They're like not that far apart. And then so I was just like curious, so I started counting how many guys were in front of me. And then once I reached the turnaround point, I think I counted, I think 10. So I was like, okay, I'm in 11th, but I've got like these 3 guys right behind me and Mary. So I was like, okay, so that kind of, puts me at 11th, but then there's like 3 people, like 3 men. I'm most like counting men because that's what I need to finish top 10.
Overall, it's quite, I mean,
It's all close. It's all
yeah,
pretty close
yeah.
at that point. Yep. So I turn around and then I'm leading everyone down
So
this.
you're feeling good about that. You're kind of like, okay, this is a good spot to be in.
Yeah, I was like, I'm in a great spot. Like I'm just like right outside where I want to be. And like, feeling good. And then so we're going down and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just like really chill on this downhill so I can like save myself for later in the race because at the turnaround point it's like maybe like 31K.
Okay.
And then we have like a 9K descent all the way back down to the base of Sugarloaf.
And that descent, I do recall from when I did it, is such a cruisy, fun descent. I was getting the Strava notifications of people taking my crowns all over Sugarloaf, and Mary being one of them. And my crowns were from like training runs where I was trying really hard, and she's taking my crowns on her race.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, it's a very cruisy, easy to run down. I wouldn't even almost more like a Forest Service road than a trail.
Yeah, I would say like the first like 3K till you get to that service road are a little bit not as cruisy, right? Coming from the summit, like there's some rocky kind of areas, but then once you get to that service road, it's like really easy running.
Yeah. So point being, it would be really easy to sort of send it downhill.
Totally.
And I specifically remember that journey because once I went up Sugarloaf is when I felt really bad. And so I was having the hardest time trying to run down this hill. So that was, it sticks out in memory because I basically had to walk down the whole thing, which is a very unfortunate point.
Yeah, because it's so runnable.
Yeah.
And so just like that, like kind of more maybe technical section before you hit that service road, I'm like leading the like these four people down, and then I like ducked to go under like this like kind of like lower hanging branch. I don't think everyone had to duck. I was just because I was taller, and then like my hat got like stuck in the tree. Like it just literally yanked the hat off my head,
Oh,
and then the hat was stuck in the tree. So I had to
oh
like
no.
turn around, grab my hat, and then everyone just went by me.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, well, like that's okay. Then I can
Nobody
just
else.
nobody else lost their hat in the tree. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
your problem.
So that was a me problem. Yeah, exactly. Um, so I had to turn around and get that, and then they all kind of just went off, and then I was like, oh, that's fine. I'll just like, I'll slow down even more and just keep going my own, like even more chill, and then hit the aid station, grab some more water, and then go down that cruiser fire road and just kind of just nice and steady, and like legs felt good, like everything felt pretty good, I would say, and pretty uneventful till I got back to Sugarloaf at the bottom of the base, and then I saw Steph and Kelly there again.
So this is the second crew accessible aid station, which is the same as the first one. You just passed through this one again.
Yeah,
So did they just wait there and or hang out there for you?
good question. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't
But
really matter.
no, yeah. Actually, like, I'm thinking like near the end of that, I was like kind of feeling like my feet a little bit, like my feet were feeling like not super great. They just felt like fatigued,
Oh.
and it was something I hadn't experienced before per se. Like I was wearing the on super shoes, super shoes, and I'd say like that's like the longest run I've done in them.
Oh.
Um, at that point, like I had done a couple of longer runs pre UTMB, like maybe I don't know, 4 hours maybe or so. Like, and then like at that point, I'm like probably like 4-ish hours. But anyways, they just felt like tired. They felt like as if like I had like pressure areas in my foot, like as if you're like barefoot stepping on rocks, and it kind of just feels like there's like some pressure, and like not that like I had like blisters or like hot spots. It just felt like my foot like just felt not good, and so
And so you're probably thinking this is kind of early on to be having feet pains.
yeah, and it's like, well, it's like it wasn't like excruciating. It wasn't like terrible. It was just
You just
like,
clocked it.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay, like it's not like it's like totally fine, but like it could become worse. And so I'm like, so then when I got down there, I said, okay, I'll want a shoe change at the next spot. So like kind of have that ready.
Okay, so yeah, I had heard from
Yeah.
Steph after the fact that you requested a shoe change at the next one. So I was very curious about that. About well, first of all, I didn't even know which shoes you had started in. And then I later saw a video of you changing into the Nordas from the Ons.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. And yeah, I was just curious about if it was blisters or like what the deal was. Because yeah, I thought that was like a bit early on. It seemed to be requesting a shoe change because sometimes like you've done 100 kilometers and not even changed your shoes.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just felt like something, I don't know. I just felt like it didn't feel super great, and it could maybe be getting worse. Um And like, I mean, I think it's a matter of I didn't have a lot of long runs in those shoes to really test them out. And like the runs I did have, they felt great. But like, you don't do those like as long runs as races often in the shoes. So
Yeah. Sorry.
I was gonna say maybe they weren't just like as broken in as,
Yeah.
like I haven't actually put too many kilometers in them. So that could be it as well.
Yeah. And then the shoes that you did change into the Nordas, you've done really long runs in those. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I've done like Alpenglow,
yeah,
100K in those and stuff like that. So
the Nordas prevail.
yeah, Norda's coming back. Yeah, exactly. So
Norda.
totally.
Okay.
Um,
Zero
yeah,
zero five.
005 for sure.
Starting out.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, then so when I kind of got to back to Sugarloaf, like nice quick transition again, and then there's like a small climb back out, and you take like then it's kind of like gradually up for a little bit, then it's pretty flat, and just kind of in on the small climb up, I was just like, oh, like don't feel like I got a lot of juice in the legs to go, and I was just like, okay, just kind of running uphill, and like it seemed well there was like a headwind coming, so it's like you're going uphill headwind, and so I was like, I don't know if it's just the headwind now or my legs just like aren't like giving me a lot of energy right now. And then my pal Matthew was like just up the road, and he's kind of just like kept running away from me, and so I was like, okay, just keep kind of steadily running, and then I hike a little bit, and it wasn't super steep, and then anyway, so I would say like at that point things kind of started to turn a little bit, and like I just felt like when I was trying to like ask more from my legs, like they didn't have any more to give.
You're like, come on, legs.
come on, yeah, like just push a little bit more, and then but like it like they didn't feel like heavy or anything. They just felt like flat, is what I would say. Like they
Okay.
didn't have any extra juice, and
And this is at about 40 kilometers, would you say?
yeah, maybe just over like 41 kind of
Okay.
thing. Yeah,
So then are you thinking, well, shit, I have 60K to go and I feel flat already? Like, what was your headspace there?
I think I was like, okay, well, yeah, maybe it's just like it just feels like this now. Maybe it's just like I don't know, the headwind. Maybe it's just like you just need to get up to more flat rolling terrain and it'll be fine. And then I got up to the flat rolling terrain. And I was like, no, I don't really have much more of a speed than just like this kind of like mediocre output. And yeah, then I was like, well, maybe I need to try taking more nutrition. So I started
Okay,
eating
yes.
more. Yeah, so I
I
tried
was going to ask about that. How was the nutrition going up until that point?
to. Okay. I would say it was pretty good. The only part where I like kind of felt like my stomach didn't feel super great was at the top of Sugarloaf, but as soon as I came down, it felt a lot better. So I think it was just being up at like 3,000 meters, my stomach wasn't feeling super as like I was just kind of like I put some like think I ate a bar, and then it just kind of felt like not super great. But then as I started coming down in altitude, back down closer to 2,000 meters, it started to feel better. And then so while I was on that section, it felt like pretty good. I would say like what I was taking in was sitting well, but so I just tried to take in a little bit more, hoping that would help give me some more energy. Then yeah, so then it's a very gradual climb, and then it's like pretty flat. Then you go down before hitting another like the road section back to Bear Mountain. And yeah, so I just like felt super flat, and I felt like, oh man, like kind of starting to hit a low, and like a struggle bus starting to happen. And then this British guy with the blue shoes, I see him kind of walking ahead of me, and he's just like
The squirrely voice
the
man?
squirrely voice man. Yeah, call him Squirrel Man. See him walking up. I passed him. He's like, "Hey, do you know how far the next aid station?" I was like, "Yeah, I think like 6 kilometers or so." He's like, "Oh, like I'm bonking really hard. I need some food." I was like, "Oh, like no, you're like we're getting there. It's like mostly downhill and a little bit of road. Like it will come by quickly." He's like, "Okay, okay." Anyway, so I go by him, and then I'm going downhill.
You don't give him any food?
Well, like I don't know. Am I allowed to? I won't like.
Competitors?
Yeah.
You can give them food.
Okay. Well, like I barely had enough food for myself, and I was just trying to eat more.
Yeah, no, that's fair if you
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
have enough.
No, I definitely didn't have enough.
Yeah.
I had just enough to get to the next aid station. Yeah, and I was trying to eat more myself because I was like, yeah, yeah. I was like, I need this food. And then I'm going downhill, and then I was actually trying to like mess around with my little phone, um, and I was trying to like,
Okay, wait. People need to
yeah.
understand what the little phone is.
Okay, okay. So I have my racing because you have to part of the mandatory gears. You have to have a phone. A smartphone. And so I have like what it's like a quarter the size of an iPhone.
Yeah.
It looks like a mini phone. Think of like Derek Zoolander and his like little like cell phone. It's like that.
But
Um,
it looks exactly like
yeah,
it's just a tiny iPhone.
and it's like it works. Like it's got all the apps. It's got like internet, like music. It's just
It's ridiculous looking.
yeah,
And it's very you that you would find the tiniest phone because for the people to understand
yeah,
why Nico would want this tiny phone is because it weighs marginally less than a regular iPhone and it's obviously smaller, so it doesn't take up as much space in your pack. So he's all about the
yeah,
efficiencies. It's something I would never even think of ordering. And one day, you didn't even tell me you were ordering it. Just one day, I just saw this tiny phone and was like, okay, I guess that's just normal now.
yeah.
So, anyways, carry on. You started messing around with your tiny
Phone,
phone.
yeah. Because I just had it on airplane mode to conserve the battery because the battery also isn't super great on it. Anyway, so because I'm like, oh,
Tiny phone, tiny battery.
tiny phone, tiny battery, exactly. Anyway, so I'm messing around with it because I'm like, okay, I need to text Steph and maybe tell her to come too, because the next aid station was crewable, and but then there was only 6 kilometers before the one after that that's also crewable. So I was kind of like, okay, well, it's not a lot of time in between them, so maybe we like they just go to one. And then I said, okay, how just go to the second one because
You had already told them, just go to the second one.
yeah, go to the second one because
Back when you were feeling good.
yeah, exactly. Go to the second one because that's the last one. I won't see you before like 40K.
Okay.
Because then it's like a really big gap. If not, it would be like 46K. So I was like, okay, then that way I can get like a big supply from them from there. But then I was like, oh, like it would be kind of nice if I could like. Well, I was like, hey, my feet. I was like, okay, maybe just try to change the shoes even earlier now. Like I'm like, okay, like it would be feel really good to change my shoes, and B, like maybe just have like a good hard reset there. So anyways, the tiny phone, I couldn't get the service to work on it. Like it was not connecting to the network. I don't know if it was in a dead zone or what, but like there was like no service. I was like, oh, come on. And so so the tiny phone was backfiring on me, and yeah, so I just put on music.
Okay.
Yeah, with the tiny still had music, but it just couldn't find a cell phone net for, or like, yeah.
Okay, so you're just like, okay, give up on that. Just change up something else. I'll throw in some
Yeah,
tunes and we'll try to roll on.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Then, yeah, as I'm coming like down this like very casual area, I see some girl walking, and it was Alexa Johnson from Victoria. Yeah, because I knew she was out there, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll see her. And she was walking, and then so I just kind of walked with her a little bit because I was like, I'm not having a
I
good.
would also like to walk.
Exactly, a walking sounds nice. So I was like, we'll walk together for a bit. So I just kind of had a quick chat with her.
Doing super great.
She was, but she wasn't doing super great. Well, she said her feet like were really messed up.
Oh,
And so she's like, my body feels good, but like my feet are really, yeah, or her.
feet.
Yeah, yeah. If like your feet are like, I don't know, if your feet are done, it's like hard to run because it's like
Very.
it's like the yeah, what connects you to the ground. So yeah,
They're for sure a necessity.
yeah. So I walked with her just for a little bit, and then I kept running. And then it was like after, like it was that point where we kind of hit the pavement, and then it was pavement all the way from there to Bear Mountain, and there's like still another 200-ish meters, and so I'd kind of just hike up the climbs and then just easy run down, and yeah, just kind of like really not feeling good. Then eventually got to Bear Mountain, and then I was like, okay, I need to try like something different. I'm like, okay, like Coca-Cola, that like usually works quite well for me. Maybe that will like help turn my race around. Like I'm just like seeing like what can I do to try to fix this. And so I had a little bit of solid food there. I had some quesadilla, I had some Coca-Cola. I think I filled up like a handheld with Coca-Cola. Then I put Coca-Cola in a flask, and then I had water, and then I just had 6K to go to Snow Summit Base, is where I would
So you
see.
sat down there, fully had a moment.
I didn't sit down. I just like
Must have stood.
yeah, yeah. I took some time there.
And roughly what kilometer is that at?
Probably 50.
Okay, 50.
So we're halfway.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And also notably, it's a beautiful sunny day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The weather was great. Like the
So,
weather. Oh, yeah. Besides, like the wind. Yeah, actually coming down Sugarloaf like a couple times. Like it's just kind of like a little bit. I don't know. The wind was just the way it was blowing. Like I had to turn my hat around because like it felt like my hat was just gonna fly off. But so yeah, it felt like coming back to town. Like it was like a headwind the whole way. But it was like super nice and sunny. It was like, but the wind was almost like keeping you cool too.
yeah, great. So you were a good temperature.
Yeah,
That
no,
was not a problem.
that was not a problem. Like my shirt was dry. Like I didn't feel like I was sweating too. And I was like, I felt like I was doing a really good job drinking liquids the whole time too, like because I had to pee decently often. So I was like, okay. And then I would see it look, and I was like, oh, it looks pretty hydrated, like especially because I'm drinking so much. So
Okay. And again, I'm curious about
yeah,
up to this point, have you struggled at all with um, navigating? And what I mean is like, was it ever confusing, the course markings or anything like that? Because, I mean, to sort of jump ahead, there was a lot of feedback or stories, or we saw on the live stream people going off course and getting lost, or maybe not getting lost but going the wrong way and then realizing they were going the wrong way and then having to double back. So how was that for you?
I mean, like the whole time, I thought the course marking was really good. Yeah,
Okay.
I know. So like, I had no issues with the course marking.
Because I think it was, I started watching the live stream when I got home from my run that morning at about, probably I was home by 10 a.m. and then I did not leave the couch or the live stream or the live tracker until that night. But when I started watching at some point, I mean, they're really just following the leaders of the race.
Yeah,
And so when I started, it was Chad Hall who was in the lead, and he was in the lead, I mean, I think for the majority of the first 50K. At one point, he went off course, and then he must have realized he went off course. And the kind of interesting dynamic about when the leaders go off course, especially if they're on the live stream, is there's usually how they're getting this footage is there's a mountain biker following them. And It's
Does
like,
the mountain bikers say anything like, "Hey, you're off
no,
course"?
that's what
Like,
they were talking about.
okay,
The announcers on the live stream were basically saying that they're not supposed to say anything because it's kind of like,
influencing the race,
well, it would be
or
unfair advantage
yeah,
because then if you were not the leader and you go off course,
yeah,
there's nobody there to tell you that,
totally, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
potentially there's another competitor, but
yeah,
that's just part of the race.
yeah,
So yeah, it's kind of this thing where, they may know, they may not even realize, who knows what the
yeah.
mountain biker is thinking. But so anyways, Chad Hall went off course and then eventually he comes back on course. And I think he had just only moved into, I want to say, second place at this point, or maybe third. But then he very quickly charges back to the front and he was on a mission. Like, I was thinking, this guy is going so fast. I think Michelino had gone into the lead
Okay.
and he passed
What
by.
what point at what like kilometer do you remember?
I don't know exactly, but I think it was just before 50K,
Okay.
because then shortly thereafter that, I specifically remember them saying that this is sort of now unknown territory for Chad Hall,
Okay.
because they were saying he's never done longer than a 50K race.
Yeah.
Maybe he's run longer in other scenarios, but he's
Yeah.
never done that any
In a
longer
race,
in a
yeah.
race setting. And I remember that because I was thinking, wow, he's going so fast. So he passed Michelino. Michelino was hiking
Yeah.
uphill, and Chad was
Running.
running like
Yeah.
up everything
Yeah.
and blasting by people. And oh yeah, it was also like a single track area, and so he was passing a lot of the, I think, back of the packer 50K people.
Okay. Yeah.
So that seemed a bit awkward because he had to basically ask every single person to move to the side.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like he would just like put his arm or his hand on their back or something to sort of let them know to move, because I think they're in the zone and maybe they have music in. They don't necessarily know.
I did find that a lot with like people that I had to pass to that were like in the 100 mile, 100K. Like sometimes like they have their headphones in and like,
Yes.
and then there's just like no space to get around. And even if I would say something, they wouldn't move.
Yeah.
And then, yeah,
And I think I mean, a lot of them are probably not aware that this guy is also like
coming. Yeah.
and leading the race.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
they would be a bit more like, move over. Maybe
Yeah.
they just think it's another 50K or
Totally.
something.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then he moved. So I just remember that because I was thinking, wow, like, he is running this race like a 50K. So
Yeah.
if he can hold on to this pace, kudos.
Yeah.
But wow. And then, we'll get to how he finished up later.
Yeah.
But so carry on.
Yeah. But yeah, course marking, I found like, I don't know, I thought it was pretty good. And like, well, interesting thing, is like Chad Hall is from Big Bear, so you would think that he would kind of like, he knows all these trails. He would probably know the course pretty well, just because he's from the area. He's a local. But I mean, I also have I had the map on my watch, but I didn't ever really use it because I didn't struggle with the course markings. But anyways, so yeah, halfway 50K, then we'll have 6K to go to Snow Summit Base, where I will see the crew again. And yeah, there's like a gradual climb up and then a pretty steep descent and then flat run to the base of Snow Summit. And yeah, just kind of like hike, maybe jog a little bit of the up. It's like not super steep, so it's like it's okay. And then I'm able to like run what feels like okay going down like the steep descent. Like my quads didn't feel trashed. Like I just felt like I didn't have a lot of energy. So like descending was like felt okay. And then it was just like pretty flat to the base of Snow Summit. And then that's where I saw, Kelly and Steph again, and Tiffany.
Okay. So another crew accessible aid station, and this, what one is this called?
Base of Snow Summit.
Okay, and this is about
56K.
56K.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to remember what the updates I would have been getting at that point.
Yeah, and that's where I sat down. I changed my shoes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so I changed my shoes, and I was just like, oh, it's not going very well. And just like, yeah.
I think in the video that I saw, I remember you saying that you wanted more cola.
Yeah, because I had cola at the previous aid station. I was like, okay, maybe I just need to keep trying to down more cola. Yeah, so I just said, well, because then I wouldn't see them from 56 to like 90 kilometers. So
okay, so that was the second to last crew accessible aid station.
Yeah. So then there's like a long period before I would see them again. Okay. Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember, I don't know if you know what placing you were roughly in at that point.
I have no clue, and my guess would be like I was
maybe 14th,
15th.
Because I definitely recall, when I first tracked you when I got home, you were somewhere around that 11th place. And I was like, okay, this is perfect. I'm sure a lot of the guys ahead of him will slow down
Yeah.
or, some will blow up or whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought that was great. But then it kind of just kept going backwards.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a bit concerning because it was kind of like, okay, maybe there are some people that are slowing down, but he's not getting any faster.
Yeah.
He's not, passing these people.
Yeah.
He's actually getting passed.
Yeah, and I mean the whole like beginning part, I was like, okay, like this is like really good. Like I'm in a good spot. Like I'm setting myself up to run really well for the last like
Right.
40K. And then I got to that part, and I was like, there's like it's gonna be really hard to run the last 40K. And then at that point at the base there, Steph was telling me, I think she said like Eli had dropped or something like that, and so I was like, okay, well that's like one less person.
Yeah, that was another notable person who kind of kept dropping back and back was Eli.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, he, for those who are not aware, he's a professional trail runner. He runs for Adidas Terrex, and he did the 100K distance the 50K distance at UTMB.
No, 100K.
The 100K distance at UTMB, and then he just did the Worlds, which was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So honestly, seeing him on the start line, I thought, wow, this is a super ambitious schedule.
Yeah, actually, and on the start line when we were just chatting, he's like, "Yeah, I'm just here to get a top 10." Like he's like, "I'm just here to like finish in the top 10."
Because he wanted to get back to UTMB. So he
Yeah.
had the same goal as you.
Exactly. Yeah, he wants to get back to CCC. Like he wants to go back to Chamonix.
Okay, but then so he dropped out.
Yeah.
I guess a bit more than halfway through, and so
Yeah.
obviously he was having a really rough day. Otherwise, because he's a very talented runner.
Yeah, he could probably also just like finish like easily in the top 10.
But he must have thought, I'm not going to
Yeah.
finish in the top 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just going to cut my losses. Otherwise, he maybe would have just powered through.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess so. Yeah.
But anyways, obviously we don't know what was going on in his head, but just kind of notable because it was like there was some attrition for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But not well. There was also attrition for you.
Yeah. 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 And then so. Yeah, no, the crew was so positive, and they're all like, okay, just like, keep moving, like, that because they're like stuff would be like Eli drop, like people are dropping out there, so it's like just keep moving. And then, anyways, had no clue what spot I'm really in, but so I'm like, okay, I'll just keep moving, and then I go up Snow Summit, which is like a 3.5 kilometer climb to there's an aid station at the top of the ski hill. And so I kind of pretty much just hiked the whole way up with like maybe a little bit of jogging on like the flat sections. Get there and I'm like, okay, like fill up the flats with cola. Well, the next section is kind of long, but till the next date, it's 14K. And yeah, so I can't remember. Oh, I ate there a couple of pancakes, these like little pancakes that they made. And I mean, like, yeah, they were good. They reminded me of those pancakes we had in France,
That's exactly what I was just thinking.
Yeah, and so I had some, and I shoved some in my vest.
Nice.
Took them to go.
Pocket pancakes.
Pocket pancakes. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, cola, and then I was like, okay. And then it's like pretty, I don't know, mostly rolling downhill for a while, and like maybe very gradual ups, and I could just like barely, like it felt like I was like barely shuffling, and like so I was kind of mixed between like walking, shuffling, and then at a certain point, I just like sat down on a stump for a bit.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just like really, and I'm like, look at my watch. There's like 40, I don't know, like maybe 39K to go. I'm like, I still have 39 more kilometers.
So is it it's your legs? Your
Like
legs are just not moving as you want them to?
I just feel like, yeah, I just don't have like, they just feel like, yeah, like I was saying flat. Like I just don't have like, it just felt like I couldn't run like well. Like I couldn't open up my stride. I couldn't like, it felt like I didn't have the energy to run. So yeah. And then like, and I was eating. And so I was like, okay, just keep eating, trying to put calories, trying to put energy but like, it wasn't like, yeah, it wasn't helping. And then like it would be like downhill and feel like I was like running so slowly. And at the point where I sat down on the stump was like it's gradually uphill, and I just kind of like sat there for a little bit and put my hands in my head, and I was just like, oh man, like another.
Anybody else around you?
Actually, there's like, okay, so there's like the 20K race that was also going on at the same time, and so kind of like the back of the pack 20K. So I was kind of like still passing some people, so because they were all kind of like shuffling as well, and yeah. And then anyway, so it was kind of actually like inspiring to see them all though, because I was like, okay, I'm like still a passing,
Yeah.
people, but like I feel terrible myself personally, like compared to how I usually would feel.
So is your mental space thinking, how am I going to do this? Or do I even want to do like what's your talk track in your head right now?
Yeah, well, it was kind of at one point it was like, yeah, definitely I was like, oh, do I really want to like do this anymore? And but then I was like, okay, well, like I'm not injured, I'm healthy, like I can definitely get to the finish line. So that kind of thought quickly got squashed, and then
But did you not have any thoughts of, not that I'm suggesting you should have been thinking
yeah,
this, obviously I wouldn't, but
yeah,
um, any thoughts of, well, I'm not even going to make it in the top 10, so I'm not even going to get the goal that I came here for. You know what I mean? Because at that point, you probably must have been pretty unsure that you would get that spot.
oh, for sure. No, I definitely thought that was not even a possibility. I was like, I'm just trying to survive right now.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay, I'll get 6 stones for finishing the race. Like,
Right. Okay. Yeah. So there's that incentive.
yeah. But honestly, at the same time, I was like, I don't even know if I want to go to UTMB right now. Like, I'm like in there. I was like, I'm barely over. I'm like 60 kilometers, and like, how am I gonna do UTMB? I'm like,
Wow.
can
Well,
you?
honey, this is what happens when you sign up for a race so close to your previous race. Even though you didn't
Yeah,
run the whole thing,
yeah.
you still did a lot.
Yeah, no, and yeah. Anyways, so I'm like, anyways, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, well, I just need to like, I'm far from thriving. I just need to survive this race, and I'm like, I don't even know if I want to do UTMB, so it's okay if I'm not in the top 10. It's fine. Like, so that's kind of where I was at, and then at like this point, I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like 40K away. If I just walk the rest of these 40K, I can probably average around a 10-minute kilometer, 10-minute kilometers for 40K. That's going to be like 6 hours. Like, I'm at, I can't remember, like 7 hours or something like that. So, like, I can make it in like 12, 13 hours, depending on how fast I go. And so I was just like, so like that was going through my head. I was like, I can just walk the rest of this and finish it. But then I was like, kind of get back to, it's like, no, you can like still run. So I just like run, and like you can run, but it's like it's gonna be faster than just like walking. This will be over faster if you just like
Hmm.
do a slow jogging is still faster than walking. So
And you're still able to take in food
still able to
or
take in food.
nutrition.
Yeah, still able to take in nutrition, and like thankfully, uh, it's mostly like more it's more downhill than
Hmm.
uphill. Like there's still uphill sections, and I would kind of I could like the nice thing was my quads never felt shot, so I could like still run downhill, and so I was like still able to move downhill. And it's kind of ironic because I was like, oh, like the uphill is going to be my strength because I've been doing all this uphill from UTMB, and then I was like felt so flat on the uphills. But like I feel like my legs were just have been very seasoned from all the vert, and so like they're very resistant to like the fatigue for going downhill. So I was still able to run well, like run relatively well going downhill. So I just kind of shuffle through that, and then power hike the uphills, and then I just be like, I don't know, just reminded me of like when you did Big Bear and Katie was pacing you, and then she'd be like, great power hike, like, and then I would just tell myself, great power hike, and then like, okay, you can run a little bit now, and then I would like power hike for a bit. It's like, okay, very strategic, good job, and then like keep
You
going.
were your own hype girl.
I was my own hype girl, just trying to hype myself forward. And then once I was at six, like I was like hitting that, it was like really low at like, just over 60K, and then I'm like, okay, just focus to get to like 70K, just get to 70K. And then after 70K I was like, okay, like just 4 more K and you're at the next aid station. And yeah, eventually I got to that next aid station. It was like I think 74 75K in, and
Not crew, just a regular
not
aid.
crew, just a regular aid station. And yeah, then I filled the flask with more cola. At this point, I wasn't really eating much of my own nutrition. I would have maybe like one gel every once in a while, but mostly just relying on the cola. But like my heart rate, like my output is like, I don't know, it's like 120. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like wasn't like super, like I don't know, super high. And then I had like a couple peanut butter jelly um sandwich, like they're like a quarter of a sandwich, and those like actually hit the spot quite well at that one aid station. As I'm filling up my stuff and leaving, a squirrely guy comes in. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's like right behind me now. I'm like, actually, and one thing that's super encouraging this whole point from like 60 kilometers to 75 is no one passed me.
Ah, yes, I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, and I was just like waiting. I was like, people are just gonna start like rolling by me. Like I'm moving terribly, and then I was like, no one's passed me. And also another like saving great. Like I had music on, the vibe was good for that, and it was like a beautiful section part of the course, like skyline, like the nice rocks, like beautiful views, and so like that also really helped. I was like, okay, this is like such a nice part of the
Mm.
course. Had good music on, so like that was just like kind of keeping the morale high.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you get through the and squirrely guy and you were running together or just near each
As
other?
I was going out of the aid station, he was coming in,
Okay.
and then
So you but you left before him?
yeah, I left before him.
Okay.
I was just like leaving outside the aid station. He was just coming in, and then when I was in the aid station, guys like, the guy helping me fill my flask. He's like, "Oh man, you're doing amazing." He's like, "I think you're in fourth or fifth," and I was like,
Oh no.
I was like, I was like, I don't know about that. He's like, I haven't seen a lot of 100Kers coming here. I was like, did you just get on shift, man? Like, I don't know.
No.
I don't think so, but thanks, man. Like, appreciate it. But then, like, the thought did come to my head. I was like, I wonder what spot I am in. And, like, I'm like, maybe, like, I am not that far from the top 10. So, like, I don't know. And then, so I have one more aid station, Campo Cito, and then Aspen Glen, where I'll see the crew again. So I have to get to one more aid station. And okay, then I was like, okay, like just keep trying to run as much as you can, take walk breaks like on the uphills, like strategically again. And so like kind of just alternate between that. And I was like, every time I just kept coming back to it was like, okay, you can still run a little bit. Like you can still run. Like it's like not like you're forced to walk. Like you can run. It's like, it's just
You
like,
have to try.
yeah, it's like it felt like it was a battle more in my brain, like
Mm.
because I was like, I can run, I just can't run well.
Yeah, and I
And
don't want to.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
So
think maybe it was at that aid station. There was one of the it must have been that aid station because I think it was one or two before you would have seen the last aid station where you'd see the crew,
yeah,
where you were just behind I think the 11th place guy. And it was something like you were only 5 minutes behind him, the timestamp of you guys leaving the aid. Because I know, like, Greg and I were texting this whole time, and we were both like, okay, this is great, he's just behind this guy, and we were thinking, okay, great, maybe he's turned a corner, and he'll hopefully start gaining on this guy, and hopefully this guy is going the opposite way. And then it was the next one that then all of a sudden you were actually like 20 or 30 minutes behind him. So it went in the opposite direction than we wanted it to. So we kind of got this like glimmer of hope, and Greg was just like, Nico's such a good closer, like he's got it. And then we were like, oh shit, no, oh no.
oh no, yeah, no. Well, I mean, the whole time too, I'm like still kind of hopeful that maybe something will turn around. Like I don't know, like Run Rabbit, things eventually kind of turned around. I was able to finish really strong,
Right.
and I was like, I'm still eating, so I'm like it's still maybe possible that like I'll get like the second win somehow and be able to finish and run like well at the end, and um, but that never ended up happening. But I was just able to kind of maintain this slow, steady run hike
Right.
combination.
I think another thing that happened during the time before you saw your crew was like I was waiting for updates from Steph, but I didn't want to berate her when she wasn't messaging me because I thought, when she has an update, she will send one.
Yeah.
But it had been a while since we got an update, and
I mean, it was a lot while between I saw them too.
yes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
also I think it had been a while since we saw you coming through, on the tracker. And anyways, I was just getting quite concerned. And then she actually texted me and said, "Have you heard from him?"
Oh,
And I was like, "Oh God, no, I haven't. But why?" And she was just like, "No, I don't know. He's just like seems to have slowed down, and so we're just a little bit concerned." And so yeah, we were all kind of just nervously tracking you, but also not really sure like what was going on.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I left that uh 75K aid station as the squirrel guy was coming in, and but then I was like, oh man, I really don't want this squirrel guy to catch me. So I was like, okay, really got
It was
to.
motivation.
It was motivation. Yeah, it was motivation. So I was like, okay, there's one more aid station before the crew aid station, and that this one aid station that you have to go to, you do this small 500-meter out and back to hit up the aid station, and then you continue straight. So I was like, okay, like, it's a good sign if I don't see him on the out and back because that means like,
He's not right behind me.
exactly. He like anyway, so I go into the aid station and he also didn't catch up to me on the way to the aid station. But he obviously closed on me a lot from the top of Snow Summit to like 60 to 75K. And so do the aid station, come out, and then I go back on like the route kind of thing that you have to do the out and back, go back. And then as it's like a climb up and I'm hiking up, and then I see him running back towards me. And I'm like, and then he's like, I think I went off course.
Oh
Uh,
no, not again.
yeah, I was like, again, man, like, come on. And was there an aid station? I was like, yeah, like back there, like you take like a left and you have to go, like you check in because it's like says like there's like on the sign it says check into the aid station, like to the right, and then you like continue on the course kind of
Mhm.
thing. And I was like, oh man, like how do you miss this again? Anyways, um, and so, but at that point, I'm like, okay, well, at least I have at least like 2 kilometers on this guy because I was already a kilometer out of the aid station. So I was like, okay, that's encouraging. And then I just have to get to the crew accessible aid station, which is another. Actually, that was like pretty. It was like only 6K from that Camposito aid station. So I was like, okay, just keep moving. Now you kind of got 2 kilometers on this guy, and yeah, then I was kind of just kept doing that slow hike, walk, shuffle. And I mean, like at this point, like, the finish line is kind of coming closer in my head. I'm like, okay, I just need to get to the next aid station. Then it's like 10K to the finish. So I'm like, I'm getting there. So I'm like, at this point, I'm like, for sure, I'm finishing this thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some stones and hopefully make it in time to watch the Kona females finish their race later that evening. That was one of my goals too. I wanted to finish the 100K so I could watch the end of the Kona women's race. Anyways, we get to the aid station and I'm just like run down, see Steph, see Kelly. They're all cheering so hard. And, then they tell me that I'm in 10th place. I'm like, holy crap. Definitely did not think that was within the realm of possibility.
Okay, so this was a big surprise to you.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, yeah, and then Steph told me that like, okay, you have 20 minutes on the next person, so like you just need to like stay steady to the end. You don't have to do anything special.
Okay, great. I was
Yeah,
wondering about if you knew how far back the next guy was, because when you left there, then obviously I was doing the math to the next guy,
yeah.
and I was thinking, okay, 20 minutes is a good lead, but if you are
Walking.
shitting the bed,
Yeah,
it's not really a good lead.
yeah.
So I was a little bit worried that maybe, if you didn't know that or if you were like really struggling, then that it was actually a reasonable thing for somebody to catch you. So that's good that they could give you that intel.
Totally. Yeah. Cause then I was like, okay, like if I just keep doing, I was like, I don't like, I maybe have like a quarter more of a gear if I needed to like push a little bit harder, but I don't have much more. And
Mhm.
that like, I could only hold that for a very short period. So I was like, okay, just keep doing what you're doing. Like power hike the ups, easy jog, like, or like, just jog whatever you can. And so I just did that all the way to the end. And
Okay, well, and to interrupt
yeah,
again,
yeah.
you had so getting up to that last crew accessible aid station, you were in, yeah, I guess 11th place.
Oh yeah. And at that aid station, that's where Steph told me, oh, Chad Hall dropped.
Yes. So we on the tracker could see that Chad Hall had gone from leading the race to just moving down, down, down from, first to all the way through. And then all of a sudden he was in ninth. And then the guy who had been just ahead of you then passed him somewhere around that. I think it was at that Alpenglow aid station, that
Yeah.
last aid station. And so, me and Craig are getting stoked and we're just thinking, okay, not that wish the demise of
Yeah.
anybody
Yeah.
else, but it seemed that this Chad guy had clearly completely bonked or something because it was like crazy how
How,
much he had
how
dropped.
he's falling. Yeah.
So we're thinking, okay, this is good, because the guy in front of you, it seemed like that guy was only, well, he was either being consistent or a bit faster. So
Was extending his lead.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
did seem like there was no shot of you catching him.
Yeah.
So really the only way for you to move into 10th was if somebody ahead of you started to drop back.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, then we could see for yours and Chad's thing on the tracker, it both said imminent for the
Mhm.
Alpenglow, but his had
Yeah.
said imminent for a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I don't know what happened to him because you said, did you pass him?
No, no, I didn't pass him. And I mean, like, at the point, like, when I was getting to Aspen Glen, like, and then, like, Steph's like, oh, Chad Hall dropped. Like, I thought he, like, just was, like, in first and he dropped or something. Like, I didn't realize he was moving down. Like, I was like, okay. I was like, that's one less person. But I didn't realize that, like, he was, like, the next person in front of me.
So
Yeah.
I'm so curious now. And actually Steph had texted me at one point saying that she thought that a couple of people were leaving that aid station to go and look for him.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. And again, he went off course pretty early on.
Yeah.
Maybe he went off course again. I don't know. But then he ultimately did not finish the race, right?
Yeah, he did not finish the race.
Which
Yeah.
is, I mean, he had less than 10K to go.
Yeah, and like we both looked at his Strava after, and he did 91 kilometers. And he also like went back to the start line. He just missed like one portion of the race, and like clearly you can see like his last whatever 3, 4 kilometers. He's just like walking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I don't know what happened there because all his Strava was titled was morning
morning.
trail run.
Yeah, yeah,
So that is not very informative, but I'm very curious what happened. And yeah, obviously that sucks for him,
yeah.
but it was a big, like, oh my gosh, now Nico's in
10th
10. Now he just has to get to the finish
finish,
without letting this guy behind him catch
catch him.
him.
Yeah, and at this point too, like I'm still like able to run downhill like okay, and like and then once I got like the last 5K, it's like I want to say 2K flat and then 3K just downhill all the way to the finish. So I'm like once I got to those last 3K, I was like okay, I'm like and then like no one was like behind me kind of thing. Well, I mean there's a bunch of 21Kers
Mm.
still out there, and actually 100 milers like the courses converged. But I was like, okay, once I get there, like I feel good, and like just kind of ran easy as like, as fast as I could down the hill and back to the finish. It was so great seeing the crew, like the entire house there, and they're all just cheering so loud, and there was just like, yeah, it was I mean, it was like a big struggle like for a lot of the race, and definitely not how I envisioned it going, but like I'm super happy to have like stuck it out, finished, and like uh I feel like I got rewarded for just like kind of gutting it out,
Mhm.
and able to get that last like 10th spot. So um yeah, was a lot harder than I was expecting, but yeah, but happy with how it finished.
Wow, what a finish. You really, really kept us on our
Yeah,
toes.
yeah. Yeah, what a emotional roller coaster. Yeah.
I was full on crying when I saw that you moved into 10th place because yeah, obviously it was like not that not that I thought it was like a guarantee that you could get 10th place, but I was pretty confident that you could get top 10 at this race.
I mean, going into it too, I was like, yeah, I felt pretty. I was like, okay, like comfortably, I should be able to get top 10. I was like, I
That's
think
not usually a stretch.
no, and I was like, I think I could get like top five if like I had like a
Yeah.
like a decent day, and I don't know, just like comparing like times or I know it's hard, but like Alpenglow 100K, I was like 11:40, so only an hour slower, but there's like 2,000 more meters of elevation.
Mhm.
And usually I would equate that to about like an hour each. So like I definitely thought like
And Alpenglow, you had to run a bunch of it.
yeah, exactly, most of it in the nighttime. So anyway, so I just like felt confident about it, but then it was ended up being like I don't know, so much.
But
Yeah,
another interesting thing I thought of was that beforehand you had told me that you thought you could comfortably finish it in around 10 hours.
yeah,
And you weren't that far off of 10 hours. You were 10 and a half hours.
yeah.
So it's not crazy. It's not like you did like hours worse than you thought. I guess it's more just that everybody, all the nine people ahead of you, also ran very fast.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's true.
And I think maybe, yeah, like the guy who won the race, for example, he was not a known pro or anything. So that's the thing about these, you think that you can get in the top 10, but you have no idea what other people are going to do on that day, right? Who's going to show up? What's going to happen? Obviously, you knew it would be more of a competitive race because of this whole direct qualification spots to UTMB. But I don't know, it just goes to show that, yeah,
Y-
even if you, yeah.
Yeah, you just never know like who's on the start list, who's going to show up. I mean, sometimes you know who's on the start list, but there's a lot of I feel like maybe some dark horses in a lot of trail
Yeah.
races where it's like maybe some people coming from other endurance sports that are dabbling in the trails that like you can see success pretty quickly on the trails, like if you have a really good endurance background, especially from like I don't know, road running or
Well,
bike cycling or whatever.
the winner was a marathoner, a road
Oh,
marathoner.
okay,
And
interesting.
he's quite accomplished in the road marathon, but he's like recently transitioned more into the trails. But he hasn't had, I think he's done some other trail runs and he hasn't had any, standout performances. I think Greg said maybe he did Sonoma 50 mile or something and he was like 23rd or
Oh,
something.
interesting. Yeah.
So like there was no indication that this guy was going to win the race.
Yeah,
But he's obviously been putting in the work and the time, and
totally.
he was. incredible to watch finish.
Yeah.
He
Well, I saw that men's finish was like really close between the first and second males, like battle for the last 3K, like what they're like a minute apart at the end.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was like very exciting to
yeah.
watch. And this guy who won just had a gear that did not look like he just ran 100
Uh,
kilometers under him. It looked like he was sprinting at the end. It was wild. So it was very impressive. And yeah, just cool because he was kind of, yeah, total dark horse. I don't think many people had him on their free trail picks or anything like that,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
that was pretty cool to see. But yeah, I guess I was just so happy for you because it was just you needed 10th,
yeah.
and that's exactly what you got. You needed top 10.
Top 10.
You just squeezed in there, you just got the job done.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a funny finish to
Well,
it all.
well, exactly. It's like not how I would have ever envisioned it playing out, or would ever want to envision it playing out. But it ended up kind of like I got what I came there for, which was a top 10,
Yeah.
and but not the way I would want to do it.
It was a successful business trip in
It,
that
it, that yeah, the job
by
was
that
was
definition.
was complete.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, the whole time I was doing it, I was like, okay, I'll get 6 stones, and then I'll have a bunch of stones for the lottery if I want to get in. I was like, even if I want to go, like, I mean, even once I got the top 10, I was like, I don't even know if I want to like go do UTMB. I was like, maybe CCC sounds nice.
Okay, so wait, this is
Yeah,
I was gonna ask. So
yeah,
now, because I didn't know that you had these feelings of like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to do it anymore.
yeah,
But now that you're removed and that it's over, yeah, I was gonna ask what your feelings are.
yeah. No, after like a little bit, I was like, okay, no, I do want to. I do. Yeah.
Oh, roller
Hold your
coaster.
hats, folks. Yeah. No, I was like, I do want I do UTMB again. Yeah, but during that point, I was like, I was like, felt like I didn't deserve to like get like a direct entry to UTMB just because like I didn't feel like my performance was very good, and so I was like, oh, I don't even feel like like
You
my
felt like that after you got it?
no, like I mean a little bit, but like during it, I was like just how I was running. I just felt like
Oh.
I don't deserve like 10th place. But then I was like, okay, I did fight to the end, and like you know,
You got 10th place, so you
yeah,
deserve 10th
yeah,
place.
yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I think after a bit, like after I was like, okay, no, like this was just like not a good race. Like I know, it like when you have these kind of races that you can do so much better. It's like, okay, I want redemption for UTMB and be able to do the thing, and B also want to just like try to have a good race there. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's
I,
not like you were setting yourself up for success for this race.
yeah, I know.
You knew that.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Like, obviously, it's like I had very little prep time. I had like 1 good week of training and, like lots of time off, but like, not like, yeah, not a lot of stuff after UTMB. So I was just like trying to, like, forcing races never goes well.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe short races, I don't know, but like definitely not ultras. Like, things can unravel so much. And so,
And I think too, racing with this very specific placement goal in mind is kind of a tricky thing to do too, right? Because yeah, ultras are so wild and so many things can happen, so many things can go wrong, so many things can go right, but you just never know what you're going to get. So it's almost like you're sort of placing a lot of pressure on yourself with this, okay, I need to come top 10 and that's why I'm here and that's kind of the only reason I'm here. Instead of, approaching a race just like I want to have my best day and I want to have fun, like that kind of mentality is like pretty different, right?
yeah, totally. I think I also was like, oh, I want to like have fun and enjoy the race
Did you
as
have fun?
like the first 40K, sure. Yeah, after that, not so much. Yeah, not as much. I was like, okay, like I don't know. I like also felt like I was just getting into a good training groove, and then had to start tapering for the race. So I was just like also, I don't know, excited to get back into like training eventually after some more recovery. But so it just felt like everything was compressed, but it was,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a happy ending.
I wanted to ask too, when you switched into your Nordas, did your
Yeah.
feet issues sort of resolve themselves?
Yeah, they started to feel better.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
like
great.
it just felt, yeah, like I didn't have like the pressure in the feet anymore, and yeah, I think like that was definitely like a really good call for the back fit, or else I probably would have walked more because it probably would have felt just like more pressure to run on the
Yeah, and almost it's like, I don't know, I think if you leave those things, it's almost like if you're already having a bad day, you're sort of giving yourself opportunity to
more,
have more
yeah,
excuses.
more ammo to, yeah,
Yeah.
to like be like,
And
okay,
then be like, oh, and my feet hurt,
yeah,
and this.
yeah,
And it's just like all of a sudden the list starts to get really long and you start to feel more good about pulling the plug.
yeah, yeah, totally. And well, one of the things too, it's like kind of just goes back to like not having a lot of time for preparation to like, have tested the
Yeah.
shoes out for like really longer of runs. And I did regret not bringing poles actually. I mean, there's only like
Mhm.
two sections I would have used them, which was, well, I mean, like Sugarloaf and like going up Snow Summit
Yeah.
probably, but like because I was just like hiking those areas, and like especially when I was like struggling, I was like, oh, could have maybe used the poles just a little bit,
I
just
miss
to
my poles.
exactly. I was like, I enjoy poles,
You
so
love them.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
But then would you have had to carry them the whole way?
Yeah, but like I don't think they're that heavy.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, says the guy who bought this tiny phone. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, yeah. I'll bring the
I
poles, and
promise you,
yeah,
there's just not even a question about that.
but I don't have a good iPhone place. I got a quiver for my poles, so they like fit nicely in there.
We will agree to disagree.
Totally.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I think too, probably, I think this race could have looked a lot different if you did not have Steph and crew.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
totally. Yeah, I was like super grateful for, yeah, for like, yeah, Steph, Kelly, Nick, Tiffany, and Matt.
Yeah.
Like they were, yeah, just like to have them, like also like moral support too.
That's almost more what I mean.
Yeah,
Obviously, they were helpful, with tasks and physically
yeah,
doing things for you.
yeah,
But I think, uh, you know, it having a bad day, and then if you add on top, well, I'm not even going to see anybody at the eighth state, like that would be way harder to sort of push through. I think this carrot of they will be waiting there. And if you saw any of the videos that I
yeah,
posted of Steph, I was like, everybody needs a Steph Corker in their life
definitely.
because she was the ultimate cheerleader. She was screaming and just like, how could you roll in and not be like, I need to keep going? This woman is going to will me there.
For sure. And like besides that too, I like the incredible like cheerleading and support, like the information relaying, like especially at the end, like that I was in 10th, like because I could have like also just like easily kind of just like walked more and like not had
Yes.
any motivation to move as
And if you
fast as I
talk to
can.
another guy like you talked to earlier, he might have told you that you were like about to win the race.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Or you're in 20th place or whatever. Yeah, but I mean, we really missed you this past weekend. But like, there was like a really good house, and I made some new friends there, which was also a lot of fun. That added to the whole weekend
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, for sure made me feel way better about not being there. Although I had so many regrets. I was so sad to not be there the whole day. I was like, I am not doing that again. Greg and I both, texted each other
Yeah,
being like, we should have just gone there. And we were like, it's so sunny there. It's raining here.
yeah,
Like, what are we doing next time? Like, we're going to change, like, bad idea. So I will take that as a mental note because it was also just way more stressful sitting at home. I just felt so like useless and helpless. I would have way rather like seen you at aid stations and like
yeah.
help you try to assess and stuff. So I mean, obviously, yeah, we kind of made the decision that we did because we had to, but I think I would just in the future really, really try to make it happen. Um, but yeah, what else?
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like, yeah, I would just say it's like it felt like a war of attrition out there, and it's just like trying to survive, and like yeah, because like it felt like a lot of people just were dropping out, and it was just yeah, trying to survive, get to the end,
Mhm.
and yeah, I was thinking about like because I had said like run rabbit run was like my hardest like race that I've ever done, and I'm not sure if this one was harder or not. Like at least run rabbit run, I like turned things around for the end when this one never turned around, and I just felt like I was in a hole for a long time for this race. So, um, yeah, I'll definitely chalk it up to one of the hardest races I've ever done. But
But I think that's good ammo to also, or maybe not ammo, but I don't know, good experience to be able to recount later because yeah, it was the hardest day and you really struggled, but I think, like we said, it also goes to show that sticking it out sometimes does pay off. I don't know, maybe, when you're at who knows, some other race, UTMB, whatever it
Yeah,
is in the future, and you're having that experience again, you can kind of draw back and look back on this one and be like, you know what, like I pushed through that and look what happened, right?
for sure. And that's kind of how I felt like in the race, like because I had the experience at Run Rabbit Run, where I was like, yeah, I felt really bad for like, half of that race, but then I just kept going and like things turned around eventually. And so then I was like, okay, like the whole time I was like, things can still turn around. Like maybe it'll still turn around. Like there's still it's like there's that still that possibility. It's like a long race. So like having that experience, like help this experience,
Yeah.
and then it's just gonna layer on top of that now with this experience because same thing like you were saying, like it's just still you don't know and it still can be possible and it's still possible to come 10th and it happens. So it's
Yeah.
just like don't give up, people, just keep going. And unless you're like physically broken and like gonna do some long-term damage, like
Yeah, then it's definitely not worth it. But
totally.
if you're physically fine, you're just flat and feeling low,
Yeah, yeah.
you can probably keep going.
Yeah, when I was sitting on that stump, I don't know, I was just like, okay, you can have like a pity party and just keep walking. Like at least you're making progress still, and like
Moving forward.
moving forward. Yeah, exactly. Like you can still walk.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting about your comment about the attrition. Just I was just listening to the Trail Network podcast, and Lee Yingling made a comment about, I can't remember what race they were talking about, but she was saying how for a period of time it kind of had been like there isn't a ton of attrition anymore in races. Like people don't blow up like they used to. And she was like, it seems like now we're sort of coming back more to that, where people are starting to blow up again. And she was like, it's honestly fun to watch, like, in a sort
yeah,
of
entertain.
spectator
Yeah,
entertainment way. It is more fun when there's a lot of movement, because it's not just, okay, the guy who led is the guy who won kind of thing.
yeah,
And then it was just interesting that she made that comment, because it did seem like that was actually the case a lot in your race as well.
totally, totally. Yeah, I loved one of the messages you sent me about Wyatt.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So my nephew, who is 4 years old, and I was at my family's house for Thanksgiving or my sister's house rather, on Saturday night. So Nico had just finished his race, and I was chatting with my nephew, and he was saying, oh, where's Uncle Nico? And my mom was saying to him, oh, he's at a race. And he says, oh, a race in the mountains again? And we're like, yep, up in the mountains. And he says, he's trying again? And we're like, yep, he's trying again. And he's just like, good for him. And
Yeah,
we're just like, oh my God, that's so cute that he kind of, because he obviously remembers the story of, oh, Nico, his race didn't go very well last time.
yeah.
And his thought was like, just so optimistically, like, oh, he's trying again. Like, and we're like, yeah, he's trying again.
Yeah, I just thought that was so cute. It's just like, I don't know, one of those things, just like, yeah, just keep trying, right?
Mhm.
Just like,
Yeah,
yeah, just keep going to bat and keep trying, and eventually it will work out.
it will work out.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? I'm trying to think. We talked about nutrition. We talked about the shoes you wore.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's any kind of big heavy hitters
I
that
don't,
we
I
missed.
don't think so. I think that's about it, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Overall, a successful trip.
Successful business trip.
And it
Yeah.
definitely sounds like for you, a lot of the highlight was the people you were with, and that whole experience that would have not been anywhere near as fun
Yeah.
if
Oh,
you weren't.
1000%.
So,
1000%. Yeah.
uh,
It was a fun time.
great.
Yeah.
Well, can't say thanks to that crew enough, because they did
Definitely.
such a great job taking care of you.
Yeah.
It's definitely made me
It,
feel better.
it's a team sport for sure.
For sure. Okay,
Yeah.
so what's next? Are you just gonna rest? I was texting one of our friends, and she was like, "Man, what a season he's had.
Yeah.
Just kind of all over the place, ups and downs, and he just keeps going." And I literally, my response was, "I really hope he's ready for a rest when he gets home."
Yeah, so there's a race called Javelina.
No,
I'm just kidding.
no, 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 no.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna take it easy for the rest of 2025.
All right.
I was telling you earlier today, I have my eyes on Big Alta 100K. That
Yeah, well, an existing race, but they just announced a 100K version,
yeah,
or distance rather,
distance, yeah.
of the race.
So I've got my eyes on that. That's in March, but between now and then, yeah, not a lot. Just spend some time at home, move into our new house
Yeah.
in end of November, early December,
Well,
and
that should keep us busy.
yeah, exactly.
And I mean, you must be excited to just get into like the a more
routine.
yeah, and but
Like,
I mean, sort of just this. I didn't. I was gonna say lazy training, but that's not what I mean. It's just like this, like for me, and I know talking with with Andy and other people who had big races that this season. It's kind of like this feeling of okay, now I can just kind of do what I want when I want, not because I have this very specific timeline of this race that I'm doing. And this to me is always a really blissful time of training. So you must be looking forward to that.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I have mixed feelings about that, to
Hmm.
be honest. Like I like kind of organizing my training towards like uh a race, not even a race, but like improving my fitness or areas that I think I need improving on. So, I do feel like I've identified maybe some things, or I think
Okay,
like
you're
uh
a robot.
I'm a robot. I just love training. So it's just yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying not
Yeah.
training.
Yeah, yeah. But
I'm just saying this period of time where you don't have, it's not so regimented.
yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
you happen to go out on a trail and it ends up taking you 3 hours instead of two, it's not a big deal because it's like, oh no, I was only supposed to do 2 hours
Totally.
today
Yeah.
because I'm setting myself up for my workout tomorrow or whatever.
Totally. Or just yeah, being flexible about the weekend, be like, oh,
Yeah,
there's
more
this other thing.
fluidity
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah,
schedule.
yeah. No, that would be nice. That
Yeah.
would be nice.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I will say personally, that was, I've had that since
Yeah.
coming home from UTMB. And I'd say just now I'm at this point where, because I am somewhat of a robot too, and
Yeah.
I
You're
do,
making fun of me.
I do enjoy structure.
Yeah.
And well, I'm a very routine person and um, I like training peaks. I like there to be stuff for me and goals. And I was just on a run with Andy and Lindsay this morning, and I was saying to them, it does feel weird when you are working towards big goals and then there's just nothing in the
Horizon.
horizon.
Yeah.
It does have this, like, even though, like I was just saying, it is kind of nice and blissful, but at the same time it kind of does feel like, okay, but what am I working towards?
Totally. Yeah, it's good to have the periods of kind of like boom and bust where you kind of like, okay, you work towards something and then you kind of have that time to decompress. And yeah, this will definitely be time to decompress. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely do like less running and yeah, just kind of
Cross
chill.
training and
Yeah. Yeah.
chilling.
Strength training.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be nice. I feel like I haven't had an opportunity to do good strength training in a while, just with races. Like
Yeah.
you just don't get into a good strength training groove. So
Yeah.
that'll be nice. I'll be probably pretty sore for, as I get back into it, but
Yeah.
the body will adapt.
And I mean, I definitely feel I'm starting to have especially I went out to cheer the Royal Victoria
Mm.
Marathon that happened on the weekend, and I, yeah, I feel this itch of I want to sign up for a
Do you
race.
have anything in mind?
I have some ideas, but I don't know exactly what yet.
Expand.
Well, I've said to several people now that I definitely want to get fast, and I mean, what does fast mean? I know
100-meter PR.
it's all relative,
Yeah.
whatever. But as I said to you, I just want to get faster than I've ever been before.
Yeah.
And the coming from UTMB, I really wanted a change up of the training. I'm sort of done with the hiking uphill for days on end. And so what's appealing to me right now, dare I say it, is a road marathon.
Woof.
So I have put the bug in some of my friends' ear that also are keen to do a marathon. And yeah, I really kind of want to start doing more like short, fast training, which is sort of what I've started to do a little bit. I certainly don't feel fast. It feels like I have a very long ways to go, but I'm just excited to sort of switch up the goal and have a different kind of focus for
Yeah.
a bit.
Nice to have the variety
Yeah.
after kind of going just slow and long
Yeah.
in the mountains.
Totally. So stay tuned. Nothing on the books, on the calendars yet, but that's where my head's at. So if anybody out there that's listening has a great idea, I don't want to travel too far. Like, we just did this whole buy house thing, and so we need to be a little bit more limited on where we're going. And just traveling for races is a lot. So as fun as it can be, I think I don't want to go too far. So yeah, we have some ideas, friends and I, but we shall see.
All right. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Okay, well, welcome back. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Can't do it without your support and everyone else. I really appreciate it. And So many people sending so many kind messages. So it just warms my heart. So really appreciate you all.
Yeah. All right. Until next time.